Okay, so I made a big promise that we were going to talk about the Black Guardian trilogy, and we're going to start today with the first part of it, Mawdryn Undead, a four-parter featuring the Fifth Doctor, Nyssa, Tegan, and introducing a new companion called Turlo. And the whole idea, here's a few things about it. It's also worth mentioning before I go on that this was a part of season 20, and a big kind of mantra about season 20 was acknowledging the past. Every episode had a returning villain of some sort or something from the past. Let's see. The opening story arc of Infinity was the return of Omega, whatever. Snake Dance was the return of the Mara, who was in just the season before it. Here, the major villain that returns from the past, for all three of these, they cover all three, is the Black Guardian, who was seen in the Key of Time saga. No, I'm not covering that for the people who keep asking. It's 6 stories long. Maybe next time, if I could, find the time to watch it all. It's 6 stories long, 26 episodes total. No. Quit asking. Anyway. And basically he just decides that I have to kill the Doctor. Because that's what you do. You're evil. Kill your one of your arch nemesis. Works for Batman villains. So now he can't, just go out and, shoot a laser or whatever the hell he would do at the Doctor. That'd be stupid and easy. No, because he can't interfere with stuff like that. It's the whole rules of being, one of the two Guardians, because he's the Black Guardian and there's a White Guardian. Racism, I know. There isn't, I swear. So he enlists the help of a God, I can't believe I wrote this note down. Alien schoolboy. Wait. There's a little addendum to that. Alien pretending to be schoolboy. He looks completely human, but he hangs out at a boarding school. Because we need to introduce another major guest star. That's how. And that's why. Named Turlo. Turlo is a very kind of smarmy, smart-alecky character. And instantly, Mark Strickson gives him a lot of charisma. And makes me interested to see how he goes on. Because before I saw this, the only other thing I had seen him in at all was Five Doctors. And all he does is point out, the TARDIS is working, and I'll help make tea. That's Turlo. I don't think he ever leaves the TARDIS. After they walk in, does he even leave that? Yeah, he has very minimum involvement in any way, shape, or form. So he hangs out in this boarding school. Like I said, he's a smarmy asshole to everyone, including his quote-unquote best friend, Hippo. And I can see why he would be that way to Hippo. Hippo's a whiny little doofus who needed to be punched, and is literally called disgusting by one of the other characters. One of those other characters being the return of Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart. No, I don't know the full name. Piss off. He's in here because we needed another nod to the past, and the guy who played Ian Chesterton from the beginning of the series said no. That is true. It was going to take place in a school. They were very hoping to get him here because he's one of the original 3 companions. It'd be great to see him. Never happened, but hey, what are you gonna do? That's life for you. But they basically worked into the idea of the story that he was some sort of instructor for the British version of ROTC, I believe. He does something. And then plus, from what they explained in the commentary, it wasn't too uncommon for military people to retire and become teachers for some reason. I take their words for it. I don't understand much about things. One of my teachers was ex-military in high school, so I completely buy it. And he is here upon, He does his brig stuff, acting all military even though he's out of school, yelling at people, calling the fat guy disgusting. Oh, I love you, Brigadier. And once he meets the Fifth Doctor, he has no idea who the hell he is. And it's not just because of, he's regenerated since then. He doesn't remember anything about the TARDIS or anyone named the Doctor. That sets up an interesting mystery. Of course, before this all happens, Nyssa, Tegan, and the Doctor discover some strange spaceship. And because of timey-wimey bullcrap, not stupid, but, it's just easier to call it timey-wimey bullcrap. It's catchy to say, too. They get teleported a few years earlier and they meet a earlier version of the Brigadier who's just starting at this school, who remembers everything about the Doctor and all that stuff. So now there's just a mystery of how come, quote-unquote, present-day Brigadier doesn't remember stuff at all. Which involves time travel, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I do completely buy the reasoning. So, of course, while the Doctor's hanging out with that, and Turlo's having the all-important job of getting yelled at by a guy wearing a goofy bird on his head, they discover a burnt body, who they believe is the Doctor. And then the guy manages to heal himself, and he looks like either his brain's exposed or someone put a lasagna on his head. I don't know. I just go with these things. Because that's how life works, I suppose. And They believe he's the Doctor. Some people kind of are wondering how could you not think that's the Doctor? And my argument is, and makes sense to me, he could have regenerated. They make references to the fact that you never know what you're going to get with regeneration. True, every time we've seen regeneration, it turns you into a perfectly healthy-looking person, and not that. But still, they don't know. It could have happened. Go with it. You'll live longer, maybe. Or you'll look like that guy. I have no idea. So, while this is happening, it's basically there's three plots, and it's interwoven pretty well. There's the subplot of why the Brigadier doesn't remember things, which is resolved and done well. There's the Turlo must kill the Doctor thing, which they do use every once in a while. At one point, it helps. It gives you good cliffhangers, at least one good cliffhanger where he tries to say it along with me, fans of Batman the Animated Series. He tried to use a rock. It was a big rock, and with that genius, doesn't manage to do it. And I liked it because, unlike in the next story, we'll get to it, he doesn't call the Black Guardian all the time. The Black Guardian, he comes in every once in a while and tells him how to handle things and, yells at him. But, all in all, I didn't hate that part. And then the whole main thing, the whole part of Mawdryn's plan, that's the disgusting brain-looking guy, his name, Mawdryn, hence the name. Him and the people on his ship, basically are a race of people who tried to become Time Lords. Even trying to, copy the abilities of regeneration. And I like that idea. I like the idea of these people trying to find the fountain of youth, because that's Highlander at least taught me that's something a lot of people want. Some people can't loathe the fact they're immortal, but I thought it was this really cool sci-fi kind of idea. Also, I like the idea that, there's the Time Lords are obviously not the most liked beings ever. So it makes sense that, we establish more people who try to gain this power, and the Time Lords, of course, realize, no, that can't happen. Only we, guys wearing goofy-looking robes, can have that power. Screw you! The Mawdryn thing, it's the thing that puts it all together, but it's not my favorite part. I love how they mess with time, and it's complicated to explain, but all the stuff that, with how the Brigadier knows these things, in the past, but in the present doesn't. This was really, the first time, at least from what I've seen, that the classic series just really, used time like this, done something that would eventually precede a big part of what Stephen Moffat does with his stories. Obviously, the time travel is a part of it, but the time travel part usually is just used to get you to your really goofy setting and have the adventure. I mean, like, use it as a part of the plot. And I thought that was cool. I thought that was very interesting and well done. The Mawdryn stuff is... It's interesting, but I don't think it holds a candle to it. Because we've seen a scary race of aliens try and do stuff before. And plus, by the end of it, they don't feel like a threat, really. Mawdryn and his people, because they don't really do anything to threaten them. They're just like, we'll do something. What? We'll figure it out. At the end, we realize they have no way of winning or doing any torturous idea, so it peters out slowly. Now, let's see, acting. Davidson's great. Nyssa and Tegan don't do a giant amount. They mostly just walk around and do the basic companion role of screaming at things and asking, "What is that, Doctor?" So they don't really make much of an impact, and I think it's just because this thing has to focus on the Doctor. Has to give a lot of focus to Turlough because it's introducing him and setting him up for the trilogy. It has to give a good chunk of time to the Black Guardian because he's the villain of the trilogy, and plus you can't snub Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart because he's a very important guest star. And that being said, Nick Courtney should be given and should always remember well for this because he has to play two different versions of the same character, and they manage to do what they can to make him look different. Young Brig has a mustache and his hair blackened, but beyond that, the way he delivers his dialogue is a lot more clipped, whereas present Brigadier is a little bit more relaxed about it. He acts a little less. Not entirely un-military because it's a brigadier, but here the young one acts like he just got out of it, and the old one, he's kind of smoothed some of the rough edges out and feels a little bit more different. Turlough again. Strixon's. I liked him a lot in this. He manages to ride that line where he's playing a very unlikable character, but he doesn't seem generic or over. You could have easily made him very annoying, very unlikable, but they somehow managed to balance that where, yes, he comes off like a bit of a brash person, but you like him because he's funny and entertaining. Or you put him with people that are at least who if at least act purposely annoying or aren't. He's not a terrible person. He's just not really a respectful person to people. And he's not really happy with the fact that he's saddled with the job of killing a guy he doesn't know. And doesn't want to kill because that's just not in his blood. And then moving from that, the Black Guardian is fun as hell. He has a very cool sounding deep voice. And besides, well, actually, it looks like he's wearing Cruella de Vil's coat. And he has a goofy bird on his head, but he's still great in every scene he's in. He definitely comes off like this big, powerful, cosmic threat. And then, like I said, Hippo needed to die. He didn't, though. Mawdryn just kind of played, I'm pretending to be the Doctor. Oh God, I'm slowly dying. And then once it's all revealed, I'm going to destroy you. He was obviously told to do things, and he did them, and I can't fault him. So, I think this was really good. I like this one a lot. Some people think it's a modern classic. Some people like to throw it up there. I think it's very memorable. It was a good start to this trilogy. And so, sometime, I don't know if that's going to be exactly the next video you see, but we'll get to the second part and how it completely slows down the trilogy and really kind of made me sad.